Sir, can you take one photograph, sir, behind this nice monument, sir? I need to take my memories. Sir, don't put the phone like this. Have it on landscape mode. Sir, no, have it portrait, sir. The light is not proper. Now, if you have delegated some work like this, then means your effectiveness is not up to the mark. Hello friends, my name is Siddharth Shah. I am the CEO of Think and Grow Rich Academy. We represent the Napoleon Hill Foundation in India. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can multiply your effectiveness 10x times. So let's look at this way. What do you mean by effectiveness and how can you multiply your effectiveness? So your effectiveness can be multiplied by using this tool which is called as delegation. Now you might say, oh, I know what is delegation. Well, you know what? People know things, but they don't do that. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what are the two ways of delegation and how you can select the right way so that you can become a grand success and multiply your effectiveness. So let's begin systematically. What do you mean by this? You see, how to delegate? When to delegate, when not to delegate. Well, that's a key question which are there, and if you don't understand and answer these key questions, well, you're not going to get the answers to make you a good delegator, to make you multiplying your effectiveness. So to get these particular answers, understand this. When you are focusing on time, oh, I've got only 24 hours. Well, you know what? Every one of us has got 24 hours. The richest man in the world, Mukesh Ambani, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, you name it. Everyone has got 24 hours. You cannot manage your time. But if you are looking at doing actions and activities by delegating on time, well, you know what? You are only playing the game of efficiency. Now remember this, when you are delegating tasks based on time, what I mean by that, say, oh, I got to complete this in half an hour. I need to check my inbox in 10 minutes. Oh, I need to complete this meeting in 15 minutes. What's happening is that you are delegating activities based on time. That means you are focusing on efficiency. But there's a difference. There's a better way out. If you are delegating to people, at that time, you are converting your efficiency into effectiveness. It's a big distinction. So when you are delegating to people, not to time, that means you are doing the right things, not doing the things right. You are delegating, you are multiplying your effectiveness, getting the things done more. So it's not the question of time factor, but how you are delegating to other people doing your own tasks. That's where you shift your focus from being efficient to being effective. It's a key distinction of how you can multiply your effectiveness. So look at this. Effective delegating to people is perhaps the single most powerful high leverage activity which you can do. But the key word is that you got to be effective in delegating and how you can leverage this. So let's understand what are the two kinds of delegation which are there. The first kind of delegation which is there is called as the gopher delegation. It's not golfer, it's gopher delegation. Now, what do you mean by gopher delegation? Well, in this gopher delegation, I gave you the example at the beginning of the video that you are actually not delegating per se. You are really micromanaging everything. Oh, you go to that particular place and call me back. You go to the bank and then call me, and then I will tell you what next to do. So step by step, you are just instructing. In short, you are getting the things done by someone else, but you are actually involved in it. Your time is being there. You are micromanaging those things. That's what I call as the gopher delegation. And the focus on gopher delegation is on methods. Oh, you don't have to do this, you have to do this way. So that you got to really understand that when you're focusing on methods, that means you are doing a delegation which is gopher delegation. So what's the second and the better way of delegation? Well, that's what we call as the stewardship delegation. Now, what do you mean by this? Well, the key distinction is that in stewardship delegation, the focus is on results. It is not on methods, which was the case in gopher delegation, but the focus is on results. That means we have an end in mind. We have a goal. We have a target that this is what I want to achieve. And that's where we are having a stewardship delegation. Now, to distinguish between this, look at this. Stewardship delegation is based on a paradigm of appreciation, of the self-awareness, the imagination, the conscience, and the free will of other people. That's where we are using the higher faculties, and that's the element in stewardship delegation, which is not the case in gopher delegation. So there are 5 areas of stewardship delegation, and if you really want to multiply your effectiveness, you really want to understand how to delegate by using these 5 areas. So let's begin. But what are the 5 areas? And I'll promise you that if you want to really master your effectiveness, if you want to multiply your effectiveness, if you really want to be a master in delegation, you got to understand these 5 key areas. So type out 5 in the comment box, please, if you really want to master these 5 areas of delegation which are there. So look at this. The first one, the first area is the desired results. Now what do you mean by this? You got to have absolute crystal clear clarity with your team members to whom you are going to delegate about the end result. So in our academy, we have our goal cards which are there, and every person has the goal card. Okay, this is the goal which we want to achieve. So there is absolute crystal clear clarity on the desired result which is expected when you are delegating the work. Most of the time people are confused. Most of the time people are having complexity. Most of the time people are not very clear about that, oh, what is expected of the end result, what is expected of the desired result, and that's where the delegation doesn't work. So the first thing first, you got to be very crystal clear about the end result, that this is what I want to achieve, and that has to be communicated in a very specific and focused manner to all the people to whom you are delegating. That's the first one, the desired result. The second element which is important in this smart way of delegation, which is the stewardship delegation, is have guidelines. Now what are guidelines? Well, I can say this way, that guidelines are things which tell the participant, or tell the person to whom you are delegating what not to do. Well, that's a key distinction. Most of the time people have guidelines mentioning what to do. Well, that's not guideline, that's a to-do list. Guidelines are something that, okay, this is the border, these are the ethics, these are the value systems of our organization, and you should not cross this particular parameters. That's what I call as guidelines. And perhaps this sentence is very powerful to distinguish between how you can say, oh, whether this is a guideline or this is kind of a very kind of a closed, composed to-do list. So the sentence is like this: do not tell them what to do, but tell them what not to do. That's what I call an effective guideline. So do not tell them what to do, or do this, to do that. No. That's kind of a to-do list. It's not delegation. But definitely tell them what not to do. Okay, this is like the end point. You cannot cross this border. This is beyond our company's policies, norms, and value systems. So you got to be very clear. And by the way, this kind of delegation works for every area of your life, not just your business, not just your team, but it works in your family, it works with your friends, it works with your community. In every area of your life, these concepts work. So you got to be very clear about the guidelines. That's the second aspect in the 5 areas of delegation. Let's look at the third area. The third area is resources. Well, when you are delegating work to your team, you got to ensure that you are giving them proper resources to do the work. Many a times you delegate the work, but you don't give the resources enough to complete the work. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you want a calling team to follow up with your clients. You want a calling team to call cold leads. You want a calling team for prospecting or follow-ups. But you're not giving them adequate technology. You're not giving them proper smartphones to work for. You're not giving them enough data. You're not giving them enough technology, some proper bandwidth for them to connect with calls. Well, if you're not giving the resources, they are not going to do the work. So if you want to delegate, you got to ensure that you're going to balance out the resources to your team members to whom you're delegating. Resources can be either in terms of time, it could be in terms of money, it could be in terms of other support systems which are required to get the work done. So be authentic, be true to yourself, that what kind of resources which you are providing to your participants or to the team members to whom you are delegating. That's the third element of delegation, which is resources. The fourth element which you need to be careful when you delegate is having accountability. Yes, my friend, this is very important. So when you are delegating to someone, don't have open loops, have closed loops. So ensure that, okay, fine, this is the work which you have been going to be doing. By what date can I expect a reply? By what date you're going to report to me? By what date you're going to be accountable? And by accountability, what is the way of you are going to be accountable? So this is the checkpoint, this is the parameter. So be very clear about it, because otherwise people don't have a kind of a structure, and it's difficult to measure the fifth element, which is the consequences part of it. So having a right accountability is very crucial to have and sustain the delegation to go to the next level. And the fifth element in delegation which is required is having clarity on the consequences. Absolute crystal clear clarity. But okay, fine. If you achieve the desired result, then this is the reward. That's the consequence. If you don't achieve the desired result, then this is the punishment. That's the consequence. So having absolute clarity on the consequences of your delegation is very much important, so that your team is aware of what are the pluses, what are the minuses, what are the rewards, what are my punishments if I don't achieve the grand result or whatever is being delegated. So upfrontly, your consequences should be absolutely crystal clear. That's going to make your delegation very much effective. Now, if you are clear with this top 5 parameters, let's proceed to the next level, where we're going to talk about what are the advantages of delegation. Well, number one, it's a new approach of stewardship delegation. In this new approach, you're using creativity, you're using imagination. The steward, that means the person to whom you are delegating, becomes his own boss. Because now you are telling, okay, hey, fine, these are the guidelines. Now you do the way you're supposed to do. I'm not going to interfere, but this is the end result. So you're giving the guidelines, you're telling the end result, but you're not actually micromanaging, okay, we follow this, you follow that. No, that's given there in the normal guidelines. So the steward, the person to whom you are delegating, becomes his own boss. That's a very, very important element. You're creating leaders in your organization. Number third is high commitments to desired results. So when a person becomes his own boss, this is my goal. Oh, I want to achieve this goal. I want to achieve that reward. Well, he owns that particular action. He owns that particular reward. And that ensures more higher, better commitment of your team members, rather than just plain simple delegation called gopher delegation. It enhances creativity and imagination. Many a times when we say, okay, fine, this is the end result which you want to do, and you do it on your own. I'm ensure these guidelines, but you do it on your own. I have found many times that my teammates bring up better ideas, creative ideas, but they are using their own creativity and imagination. So it enhances creativity and imagination. And the final advantage is it is applicable in every area of your life. You can apply stewardship delegation in every area, in your home, with your friends, with your family, with your community, with your teammates. Every area of your life you can apply stewardship delegation. Now, questions. What if my team is immature? Oh, my team is new, or maybe I cannot give this sensitive topics or sensitive areas of delegation to my team members. Well, you know what? In that case, there are some parameters which we can ensure so that still you can have stewardship delegation without having adverse realities. You can reduce the risks. What are these? Number one, you specify fewer desired results. So don't give them multiple goals to work on, but give them a very small specific target. Okay, work only on this and then we'll move forward to the next level. If your team is immature, have more guidelines. When your team is immature, have more guidelines so that they are safe, they are sound, they are in a nice, comfortable environment. They know what to do and they know what not to do. So have more guidelines when your team is immature. Give more resources. Maybe you can create a Stepney, you can create a standby person, you can create someone, okay, fine, if you don't get it, I am there to support you. So you can have more resources in the initial stages where your team is immature. More frequent accountability interviews. So don't have long-term targets. Oh, I'll see you after a month's time or a quarter. No. When the team is immature, at least have 2 or 3 review calls in a week so that you are there in the space of what is happening, what's working, what's not working in the immature team member of delegation. And finally, apply more immediate consequences. So have short and sweet consequences. Okay, you got this particular target. Now this is a reward. So there is momentum. The team is empowered and you can take them to the next level. You can make them mature by giving them the result. Hey, these things are working. Let's take it to the next level by you getting experience of being a mature team leader. Now, if your team is matured, great. You can go to the next level. You can 10x and 100x your effectiveness. How? Have more challenging results. Just don't stick to the old rating. I mean, give it a big shot. Okay, let's say how can we raise the bar? So you can have more challenging results. You can have fewer guidelines. You can say, fine, you know what not to do. You are matured enough to understand. Now let's look at this target. How can we get this particular target? So you can spark up their creativity and imagination. Have less frequent accountability structures. Have maybe at least a once a week review meeting is good enough. And as the team matures, you can do it fortnightly or even monthly. And then you can take it quarterly also. So less frequent accountability as your team matures, less measurable and more discernible criteria. Now, what do you mean by this? See, when the team is matured, most of the time what happens is that the important parameters, let's say customer satisfaction or customer delight or customer loyalty, although they are measurable on a scale of 0 to 10, etc., there is an element of subjectivity involved in these particular parameters. So when your team is matured, you can say, fine, okay, we cannot measure this clearly, but yes, we can know that this customer is satisfied, we can find out this customer is loyal, is keep on buying from us. So it's more discernible criteria is there when your team becomes mature. When the team is immature, you can have more measurable criteria to get your results. So these are some of the parameters which you need to ensure when you are taking the results which you want to have in your life. Now, final takeaways. If you really want to multiply your effectiveness, if you really want to use the power of leverage, you got to be an effective person in delegating. You just cannot get yourself done something more by just doing the things on your own. You got to delegate. And that's what we do in our programs. Our programs shift your focus from efficiency to effectiveness. You stop doing things right and you start doing things which are right. So what's the difference? We shift your paradigm by making you do the things which were there in your comfort zone, and that's where you start to multiply your effectiveness to the next level. If you really want to multiply your effectiveness, if you really want to grow and prosper, and really want to understand the secret how to truly think and grow rich, then click on the link below and register for our program. Before I leave, I want you to type out 10x in the comment box, please. Please type 10x in the comment box, please, so that you are ready to multiply your effectiveness to the next level. My name is Siddharth Shah. Thank you so much for watching my video. Like, share, subscribe to this particular channel because we give you lots and lots of value-added material completely free so that you can become a better you. Thank you so much, Siddharth Shah. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.